Alright, what's up guys, it's Fick, and this is going to be a little roundup on yesterday's E3 press conferences. Not like a roundup. Alright, in all honesty, it's mostly going to be about the Xbox One. Xbox One, yeah. Xbox One conference, because I missed most of Sony's conference because my cable provider decided that was a good time to start throttling the crap out of my internet. So I constantly got the buffering screen. I actually missed the reveal of what the PS4 looks like because my stream was buffering. Kind of a pain in the ass, in all honesty, but that's Comcast for you. Anyway, I'm gonna get into like the prices and stuff later because I do know the PS4 price and everything, so I can at least give you that. 1 second. I don't know why I say 1 second when I take a drink. I should probably just cut it out, but I'm far too unprofessional and lazy to go through the commentary and press a button twice. Yeah, anyway, Xbox One. First, I'm going to go over what I liked about it. I thought that Forza 5 looked amazing. I'm not a real big fan of Forza. Not that I'm not a big fan, I just never really played them. I've always been like a Gran Turismo gamer ever since PS1. For some reason, the Xbox controller just does not feel right or good to me when using when playing a driving game. I always feel it's a little too arcadey, but I'm quite willing to give Forza 5 a try if I believe it's a launch title, so that would be one way to make me get it when there aren't many other games out that I want. Maybe someone else can correct me if it's not. To be honest, this isn't going to be the most factual video about the press conferences that you've heard because I didn't check anything. This is all just off of my memory, which I'm going to admit right now can be pretty bad at times. The second video, or second game, was Rise, or I don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's just Rise. The Roman warrior type of game, which I actually thought looked pretty good. I wish they'd shown a little more gameplay off. I mean, I know they just showed off gameplay, but it was firstly the soldiers advancing with shields, and then you just hacking and slashing, which I kind of hope that game isn't, although it looks like it's going to be, because hack and slash games are just very boring to me. It's just hammering the same button over and over again, which I don't know. It's just not something I enjoy. But I come from a city that's got a big Roman history, so I've always been interested in Romans. So maybe that will be something that will spark my interest in the game. And finally, on the good things from the Microsoft press conference, you guessed it, Titanfall. I am pumped for that game. I mean, that's basically currently the only reason that I'm even contemplating getting an Xbox. I mean, after seeing the press conferences. I liked the other two games, but they're not games that I would buy a console for. But when the developers of Modern Warfare 2 told me they're going to make a game as fun as they possibly can, I'm going to believe them, and I'm going to want that game. So, I'm not really a huge fan of mech kind of stuff. In Halo 4, it kind of ruined it to me when people, you know, how they just jump in the vehicles and fly around in them and spam them and stuff. But hopefully they've got a good balance between the warriors and the mechs, because that would be good. Insert your own joke about Modern Warfare 2 being incredibly unbalanced if you want. I'm sure some of you will. But yeah, that game looks pretty good. I'm certain I read that it's on dedicated servers. In fact, I may have read that every Xbox One game is on dedicated servers. I don't know if they're talking about the servers of Live or whether they're actually talking about the games themselves. Maybe someone can clear that up for me in the comments, because that's just a passing comment I read on Twitter this morning. So I believe even Xbox One, COD Ghosts should be dedicated servers, if I'm right, which I'm going to admit to you right now, there's a very big possibility I'm not correct. I'm very bad at remembering stuff. Okay, sorry, I need water. This is a 10-minute commentary. Baby thirsties. Let's talk about some of the games I didn't enjoy so much. Spark. I think it was Spark. You know, the one where they came on stage and then they built the level in front of you and stuff. I mean, I like the idea of it, but when watching the game, I felt that it got really choppy and stuff at times. Like, the frame rate dropped and everything. Perhaps I was just imagining things, but it looked quite choppy when at certain points. Dead Rising 3 looked terrible. I don't really like the Dead Rising games. I'm really over the zombie thing. Like, I get it. I went to watch Star Trek Into Darkness, and there were like 3 movies in the trailers before Star Trek that were about zombie outbreaks and shit. It's over. It's done. I mean, it should be done. People are just beating the whole zombie thing to death. Yeah, when watching Dead Rising 3, I'm pretty certain there was a point in the gameplay footage where he threw a brick or a cinder block through a skylight in the roof. And I'm pretty certain I saw the block teleport from behind his head to just dropping through the skylight, rather than like the actual full motion of him pulling it behind his head and throwing it. Now, I may have blinked and just assumed that's what I saw, but if anyone else saw that, please let me know so that I don't just look like a crazy man. I'm not that impressed with Dead Rising. It looked pretty current gen to me. Perhaps that's just me. Finally, Halo. I've got no opinions on Halo. They didn't really show anything of Halo. I'm kind of surprised that 60 frames per second is a big deal for next gen. Like, I don't even think it should be a big deal in this current gen. 60 frames per second should be like a standard. Because you won't really notice the difference. I didn't used to think that you wouldn't. And then, moving into PC gaming, you kind of do notice the difference quite a bit. As, like, Halo feels very sluggish and looks sluggish to me. And I think it's because it's 30 frames. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of making a big deal out of 30 frames per second. Seemed like a dumb point to me to make. Although I guess if you don't know any better, it would be fine. And finally, what else? Oh, let's talk the prices. The only thing putting me off an Xbox right now is that $500 price. I mean, that seems pretty steep. I'm hoping they're not going the Sony route of blowing it by pricing it too high. Sony did pretty well by coming out with a lower price point and apparently sassing Microsoft for the last part of their conference. But I really need to go and watch that Sony conference. Up until the bit that I just kind of gave up on it, it was very boring to me. They didn't show anything that I was excited for. I believe someone said Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out. Never really played them, although I want to, in fairness. I did watch my brother used to. My brother used to play them, and I would sit and watch him for a bit. So I kind of know what they're about. But, yeah, the Sony price point is better, although going against Sony, I'm one of those people that when something comes out, I have to have it. Like, a couple years ago, when Modern Warfare 3, Skyrim, and Battlefield 3 came out within like a month and a half of each other, my birthday was like right in the middle. So I thought to myself, alright, what I'm going to do is I'll get Modern Warfare 3 and Skyrim and just not worry about Battlefield. And then I'd watch streams of Battlefield, so I ended up going and buying that, and then having to just trade it in again as soon as Skyrim came out, because I wanted Skyrim. I'm one of those horrible people that is very bad with their money. So yeah, maybe that's what'll get the Xbox One for me. Anyway, video's nearly over. Oh yeah, it's Hydro. Map sucks. and I'll see you later.